Hey guys, Russ Van here. So today I don't have a specific thing I'm going to be talking about, like a topic like I did yesterday. If you did not see my video from yesterday, go watch it. I think it's actually maybe my best video, at least one of the best ones since the very beginning. I think the second video was really good. But yeah, check out episode 33 from yesterday. I basically was talking about why are there so many women in the hobby. But you know, it's not just, I think the value in just that discussion is just sort of looking closer at who's in the hobby today. And so I'm going to talk about other things about the hobby, but I was trying to, definitely focus on just the ladies in particular in that video. But seriously, when you start talking about a specific part of the population in a small hobby like ours, it does make you question not just like the women, it makes you question other people as well. So even though it seemed like I was maybe attacking, I was not attacking anybody, definitely no one in particular, but I do want to go back in another video or two or three in that series, that mini series I'm going to call Cancel Russ Van, and talk about some of these really maybe, I don't know, they're touchy or controversial topics. And I know everyone knows what I'm talking about, even though we don't really talk about it online because it's, it's not maybe polite or woke enough. We are back in this binder trying to get through it. We're down to this many pages. See some Wonka back there. That's cool. Got some mailbag that came in that I haven't shown yet, and whatever else. So let's take a look. UFO candy. They've made UFO candy in all kinds of shapes and forms over the years, different brands. This is one from 2001. Yeah, so series recap. So we're on video 34. So in case you've kind of gotten lost or in what the goal is here, basically, like I was stating in the first 10 videos, really went in a lot of detail. I'm definitely getting off of social media and out of, if I'm getting off of social media and I'm a Garbage Pail Kids collector, that's really putting me out of the community. I don't know where else other Garbage Pail Kid collectors collect as a social community besides Facebook, right? So obviously I can still go on eBay and crush it on eBay, which I have my own store and all. These are cool. Candy toothbrush. It's a hollow toothbrush that has candy in it. This is a sucker that you turn around and dip into the handle. Some of these are a little lame. Yeah, so, and I like making video content. I just like making any kind of content. And so I thought I'd do just a fun, sometimes fun, sometimes, tough topics, sometimes crazy topics. Before I go, just make a little video series about this journey I'm on. It's not easy getting out of Garbage Pail Kids. Let's see what's in here. Sunmark is a brand that makes sweet tarts and a lot of our childhood favorites. Yeah, here we go. Where did I see it? Oh, sweet tarts, Spree, tangy taffy, and then the Fun Dip. They no longer make tangy taffy. Then you have the Wonka brand. This would be in the 90s. Yeah, I see a date here ending 1995. Wow, Nerds in 1995 had a 95% brand awareness among kids. meaning when they interviewed kids, 95% of them knew exactly what Nerds candy was. Oh, and who ended up, out of all these companies, who ended up buying everyone? Was it Concord Brands, Sunline Brands, Willy Wonka Brands, or David, who made sunflower seeds? Who ended up buying out everyone else on here? And this happened around 2001, 2002. Who ended up winning? Concord won. They bought out everybody. They own a big portion of all of candy in America. Here's some old, I relate these to actually 1997. This says 2003, but this branding started in the late 90s. Really cool, super colorful, fun. They tried to get the creativity back at Wonka because it had gotten kind of stale and just kind of rote, you know, like they just made the same shit over and over. They were just trying to update some of the graphics and make it kind of fun again. Here we see a kid pulling out candy out of his brain. Very Garbage Pail Kids, right? I mean, that's what attracts me to this stuff, besides some of the points I've made in the past. Of, you know, this stuff was for sale on the same aisle as Garbage Pail Kids. You could literally take 2 steps over or even bend down on a lower shelf and find this stuff under your Garbage Pail Kids. Not in... Yeah, there you go. See the 1996? Yeah, this branding started actually in the late 90s. Continued through the early 2000s. Anyway, who cares, right? Beautiful piece. Nerds. Classic late 90s new branding. I just had to get these. These are sell sheets. Everyone sees the Tops ones, but not many people know that the other brands had their own sell sheets and ad sheets, right? We saw some Phoenix from yesterday. Remember Fat Albert Shakes? That's crazy. They have a fat black kid, black guy. They're asking you as a child to pick up the fat man and shake him and eat candy out of his pants. I think that's called the Harlem Shake. Okay, we're in the Wonka area, looking at ad sheets from Wonka. Most of these are late 90s, early 2000s. Wow, this brings back a lot of memories. Some of these look the same as they did in the 70s, even though they're from the 90s. This even brings back some memories. Sports Illustrated for Kids. Did some of you guys have those? Or collect the cards out of those magazines like I did? Shock Tarts. Gobstoppers. Yeah, so definitely still getting out of the hobby. This is just a series recap. So what I'm doing, I'm just making a video series, and I'm getting to where I'm really am close to being out of Garbage Pail Kids stuff to look at and talk about. Unless we just go back and talk about things in maybe a different way, which there's a lot. We can definitely do that. Or do comparison videos. Though I really did want this to be more of a review. You know, I'm getting out of the hobby. I just want you to see what I have. Wow, what a ad sheet this is. The color off this thing is incredible. Chewy Runts, they don't make that anymore. In fact, I don't see Runts these days in any sort of form except generic packaging without the logo. They still make that fruit-looking hard-pressed candy, but they don't have the Runts logo on it anymore. Yeah, so this whole binder was all ad sheets, starting with all those Tops items and photos. And then in the back of it, I have other brands Oh, that's a cool one. Yeah, so, yeah, Sunline. This is cool. This is something they would give to elementary school to the kids. This is one of the, like, these are the prizes. Did you ever do that when you were in elementary school where you sold, what did we sell? Maybe chocolate bars, I think it was one time. Yeah, it was always some candy item. But if you sold enough, they would give you prizes. This is one from 1997. It was sponsored by Sunline Candy Company. So kids could win coolers, clocks. I would have wanted that little keyboard. Tangy Taffy, that's cool. Very 90s. Love their little mascot dude, little monsters. Here's the same sort of brochure for schools, but it's 98. I wish I had some 80s ones, but I don't think they were doing... I don't think Sunline was sponsoring those back in the 80s. Could be wrong. You might remember these in gas stations. On the bottom shelf under the chocolate bars, they always had those plastic jars and plastic bins, and they would have, you know, called singles pieces of candy, usually for a penny, sometimes 5 cents. Mainly because there's no 2-cent coin, there's no 3-cent coin, right? So the only denominations that kids could buy was in the 1 penny category or the nickel category. And then you had some candy where the dealers were trying to go into the dime category and quarter category. So, which sucks because, you know, a lot of this candy, they really did want it to be cheap. It was meant to be sort of a spontaneous purchase. Yeah, so if you didn't watch some of those really early Quitting Garbage Pail Kid videos, go and watch them. But just to recap, I've been in this hobby a long time, and so I don't see much hope for me as a collector to really stick around any longer. You know, they promised us Chrome 4. Honestly, I don't collect Chrome at all. I think it's dumb. I can make my own Chrome cards if I wanted to that look just as good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even need Tops to do that for me. Really, you don't either. And then the thought of Chrome 5 coming out is just ridiculous. Nobody wants Chrome 5, maybe like 5 people. And where's it end? Is there going to be a Chrome 6? No, there's not. There's no Chrome 6 coming out. There's definitely no Chrome 7. It's fixing to end. You see that, right? So, wow, what a page. This is, I keep flipping through these. This is the late 90s Sunline Brands Valentine's Day Push, Candy Push. This is their Christmas push for 1996, I think. Wow, we got to the end of it. Very cool. Creepy looking elf there. Awesome. So I'll put all this back. I still have some more things I can show. So yeah, there's not much coming out that I want or will collect because I don't buy much from the new releases. I want to put you down just a minute. I need to get this binder situated. So they're promising us the vacation set, right? We've all seen the vacation tins. They look like little suitcases. but where are they? So I would imagine Topps did not make that tin, and maybe another company did. So that's interesting. Seems a little interesting. They went ahead and had the vacation tins made without having product to put in the tins. And all this was supposed to already be done. And I was under the impression that at the Philly show, which was last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, if you didn't know, I thought they were going to announce when the releases were going to come out, but they didn't. There was no panel show like they've had in the past. I did not hear of any Topps representation at the Philly show. Can someone confirm that? Was there any Topps, any of the directors, any directed current Topps employees at the Philly show? I didn't hear of any. So these came in. I opened these for YouTube. So this is absolutely incredible. I've been finding these for years and years. Everyone has, but we've never had a name for them. Mainly because Fun Foods Company went, I think, bankrupt. There's so little online about them. This is from the early 80s. There's just... there just wasn't much information on them. I always called these girl ass candy or blue jeans candy. Obviously, it's a female hips, right? No camel toe, by the way, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But this came up for sale. What this is, it's the lid from the box that those came in. It tells us two things or three things. First of all, finally we have the real name of them. Smarty Pants. It says famous Smarty Pants candy. Funny brands. Buckle opens. So basically, you open this girl's pants. Wait for it. You unbuckle her pants, her funny pants, right? To get to the candy. Because you can't get to a girl's candy till you unbuckle those pants. If you look on the back, it says please. This is a parody of the jeans brand Lee's. Did you ever have any Lee's jeans? Well, this says please. What people have noticed over time is it's not just a parody of Lee's pants. It's like saying, can I please get into your pants? So if you look at this one, it says just ask. Now this is a parody on Jordache. You remember Jordache jeans? But what's it also saying? Just ask, meaning you're supposed to ask her, just ask her out, or just ask if you can get into her pants, right? This one I haven't been able to figure out. Apparently there was a jeans brand back in the 80s, because these are from the 80s, that this is making fun of. Sir GPO. I'm not sure. Here's another please. They made 8 total. So that came in. That's really cool. So glad to have found it. And I wasn't crazy. It is a really cute girl's butt. She's blonde. Now we have some backstory. Let's turn it this way. She's poking her butt. Look at what she's doing. This was made for children in 1984. She's poking her Daisy Duke butt in your face. Look how she has frayed jeans. And this wasn't obscure. Every candy collector owns tons of these. These are all over the place. This isn't some random rare thing. These are not rare. These were mass produced. You can't find this, you can't find ads like this anymore. This is the first appearance of Topps garbage cans with bubble gum. No box has ever been found until now. And it's just the lid, but I have the only known example. Same with this one. This is a new internet exclusive buckshot candy. Now, we've been finding these for years. They look like this. You find these occasionally, and it's a shotgun shell. And so, and it even looks like a shotgun shell. It's probably a tad bigger than a real shotgun shell, but it just reminds you of a real one, though. And it's heavy like a real one, and it sounds a little bit like a real one. But you open it up, should have red hot bubble gum, because when you fire a shotgun, you think fire and heat, right? And there it is. There's red little shot candy. But if you look at the box, it has a hunter, we assume. He's looking directly at you, pointing a gun directly at you, and he's chewing gum. If you look at the logo, he's already shot up the logo. So he's not afraid to shoot. There's also another clue over here that he has already fired the gun at you. These are the shotgun shells flying out of his gun. And if you look at the barrel, it's not black, is it? It's white. And if you look at the buckshot, it looks like a pow, like he just shot you. So here, this was a candy product, early 80s. Same, these are all 80s. Of a guy shooting you in the chest with a double barrel shotgun. Last thing that came in that you guys didn't see, because I opened this on YouTube, is, you might remember this as well, Niblick. Now, this was a product that came overseas, but it was very available over here. Here's what it looks like. Look how nasty that candy looks now. Now, the base is a plastic candy cone, and you're supposed to, this is a lollipop or whatever. So that's what that looks like. Not much novelty factor on this. It does show the cap blasting off, which makes no fucking sense. Has nothing to do with ice cream, does it? But back in the 80s, they were always looking for ways to make explosions. I talked about this yesterday with a lot of these products. Was buckshot candy made for boys or girls? Was Smarty Pants candy made for boys or girls? Maybe both. So if you look at a lot of the products, especially when you get to that company, a lot of these products they really did have a target audience in mind, and they really did go after that audience, I think. And these are some things that came in that I didn't show here. Old 50s Lifesavers. Bought a guy's little collection there. Yeah, very cool. So today I don't have a topic. I wanted everyone to digest my topic from yesterday, about why there's so many women in the hobby. So go check that out if you haven't already. We still need to go and look at some mannequins, and I got some more art coming in the mail that we'll take a look at. Garbage Pail Kids art. Okay, we're on 4 here, aren't we? Yeah, so what we have to look forward to, right, is Chrome 4, which they keep delaying. Vacation. Now, we've already seen about 20% of Vacation art already. And it's, it's on the level of Food Fight, if we're honest. I've not seen one Vacation piece that I loved. And I can barely remember them. I'm actually trying to struggle to remember them. And then we have Bookworms. Feels like we've been talking about these same releases for so long. And Topps continues to delay them. But also they continue to avoid talking about them. If you've noticed that as well. Now, we did learn yesterday, or it was confirmed yesterday, maybe it was the day before, Jeff Zapata said that there's going to be a comic book series coming out called Origins, Garbage Pail Kids Origins. So if you're into comic books, or maybe you just want to read them anyway, I'm curious what they're going to say. That's something we can look forward to. And then also announced yesterday, I believe, was the stuffed animal stuffed animals that are coming out. This was a concept I had very early on. I'm not sure why they never made actual Garbage Pail Kid dolls. It just made sense to me if, Cabbage Patch Kids are dolls. Why didn't we make our own dolls? You had My Pet Monster. Do you remember My Pet Monster? That was a 80s boy stuffed animal monsters. They were really cool. Boys had them. They could have easily made Jack-o'-lantern as like a doll. Not a huge one, but because no boys wanted like a huge fucking doll in their bedroom, but they could have made them back in the 80s just fine. And they would have been cool. I've talked before in this series about how I think cheap toys are in many ways more appropriate than cards. Because Cabbage Patch Kids were actual real three-dimensional dolls, right? So you would think that a parody of a three-dimensional thing would be another three-dimensional thing, not a flat piece of paper. But maybe, now that I think about it, maybe that's what it was about. Maybe you're taking, that's the ultimate thing. You're taking something that was three-dimensional and it mattered to a lot of girls and people, and you're reducing it to just a cartoon graphic on a little cheap card. So there's different ways you can frame it. But when I saw that, who posted that? Jeff Rockholt posted it. He's kind of our hobby news guy at this point. He announced that the GPK license went to this plush company. And if you go on the photo that Joe Simcoe posted, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. Just go find Joe Simcoe's profile. He posted a picture of a convention setup, and he was shouting out June Gonzalez. I won't get into all that, but she was part of the GPK movie and all that. But anyway, if you look at that photo and you look all the way to the right, there's a nasty nick. It looks like a toy. But when I zoomed in, I realized, well, it's a toy, but it's a plush. You can tell it's not like, you can tell it's not plastic. So confirmed, there's going to be at least a nasty nick stuffed animal coming. All right, guys, y'all have a good rest of your day. I should have a topic maybe tomorrow. I don't want to make any promises. I'm still waiting on some things to come in the mail. Y'all have a great day. Russ Van out. And by the way, I wasn't canceled. I'm still here. Wow. I was not canceled. I did have some PMs come in from people talking about their thoughts about all the women being in the hobby. I had a lot of people actually do that. I probably need to do a follow-up video. Some people told me actually there's 2 more fake accounts that I didn't know about. Basically, it's some guys that are pretending to be girls, and they're actually very prominent. But I haven't actually got the proof of that yet, so like I don't really care. I'm just questioning why there's so many women in the hobby. That's all. I don't. I mean, I did say they're kind of a witch hunt, but I'm not. Not being serious. Like, I'm not planning on calling anyone out publicly, but yeah. So anyway, some people told me about some other ones, so that's crazy. Yeah, there's no way all these women are actually women. So okay, y'all have a good one. Russ Van out.